No, honestly, it just has to close its eyes to protect its like eyes. But I think I'm gonna go with the eyes. The eyes should be much more reachable, so I'll go for those. I know that the eyelids are supposed to be really thick, but seriously, how thick can they be? A few crossbow bolts should be more than enough to do the trick. To lower my attitude a little, as I noticed that Hardrock is currently holding onto the monster's trunk while the monster keeps swinging it up and down, trying to make him lose his grip and fall off. Hey Barry, can you fly now? Hardrock shouts at me while why are you bringing attention to me? I'm trying to be secretive here. Hardrick shouts at me while still holding onto the trunk. For now, I shout back at him. Great, Hardrick shouts. Then maybe we can work together on this. I'll hold on this mammoth's trunk while you stab it in the eyes. What do you think? What do you say? While Hardrick is talking, the sound of his voice keeps fluctuating in intensity due to the fact that he's continuously being carried up and down by the trunk at a great speed. Sounds like a good plan, I shout, but how are you planning to hold down the trunk? Don't worry, Hardrick says. I got that covered. He then jumps off the trunk and lands on the ground. You just need to keep the mammoth busy for a few seconds while I do some shape-shifting. Hardrick shouts. Shape-shifting against a red-eyed mammoth. Didn't Golemic says that he'd ban him from the tournament if he were to turn himself into anything much bigger than his current size? I don't have time to think about this much longer because the mammoth is now fully focused on smashing me with his trunk, and I'm barely even getting a moment of respite between two consecutive swings, and the monster wears itself out a little. It slows down its rhythm and take the opportunity to look down and see that Hardrick's been up to. Apparently, Hardrick has just turned himself into a giant snail and he's just crawling on the ground at a very low speed. Oh man, I sure hope he's not messing with me right now. At any rate, I already told Hardrick that I'd follow his plan, so all I can do now is keep dodging and hope that he knows what he's doing. After flying out of the trunk's way a few more times, I noticed that Hardrick is finally done with the shape shifting, and he's now back in his dwarf form, standing with his feet in the slime that his snail form left behind. He has his arms raised and he's looking straight at me. Oh shit! A fourth level strength check. Alright, Barry, Hardrick shouts, and I try to make the mammoth swing its trunk over here. Now I'm finally understanding what he was trying to do. Oh, his legs will be stuck. Now I'm finally understanding what he's trying to do. The particular breed of giant snail that Hardrick turned into has a kind of slime that dries almost instantly and becomes incredibly sticky, which is why it often used as base material for many types of glues. Since Hardrick has his feet in the slime, he should now be able to grab onto a mammoth's trunk without having to worry about being lifted into the air. Nice thinking, I tell Hardwick. I'll be over there. I'll be right over. I then dive towards him and then I just float there, baiting the mammoth to attack me. The monster immediately takes the bait and he swings his trunk with full force in our direction. Fly out of the way at the last second. Hardwick quickly grabs onto the trunk with both his hands without letting go. Now the chance, Barry, Hardwick says. Quick, I don't know how long this glue will hold, as the ground below the dwarf is already starting to crack from the force of the mammoth trying to pull away its trunk. I quickly fly upwards in order to attack the beast's weak spots. I reach the eyes as fast as I can, and I attempt to shoot at them with the crossbow in the hopes that I can catch the monster by surprise before it closes its eyes. Unfortunately, all that mammoth need to do was instinctively blink, and the crossbow bolt simply bounced off his eyelid. I had to shoot a few more bolts, but the creature just closes its eyes, which makes my effort completely pointless. It looks like I'll need to use my dagger for this work. Dive into one of the mammoth's eyes at full speed. I thrust my dagger into it with as much force as I possibly could. I was not strong enough for my weapon to reach the eye, however. The blade got stuck in the eyelid. I was trying to get in. Hardrick finally loses his grip, and the mammoth trunk comes swinging straight at me, squishing me like a bug and killing me on the spot. Okay, well, we have died twice already. Alright, let me reload that. Since we don't have strength, let's go for the nostrils then. The nostril might be a little harder to reach than the eyes, but they are also the most defenseless part of the mammoth's body by far. So they are definitely the target I should be aiming for if I want to do the greatest damage. As I lower my altitude a little, yeah, I've already seen all this. Here's something different. Sounds like a good plan, I shout, although I'd rather aim for a weak spot other than the eyes. But how do you plan a hold? Yeah. I've got a reflexes check, successful, level 2. Everything else is same. Now let's read from here. I reach the area at the base of the trunk as fast as I can. I try to identify the nostrils on its underside. As soon as I see them, I dive my dagger into one of them in an attempt to irreparably damage the creature's airway. As the mammoth screams, I drive my blade further inside. I mean, wouldn't the tusks hit you if you go under there? As the mammoth screams, I drive my blade further inside while twisting it continuously. Something's wrong though. Even if the creature is clearly being hurt by my attack, it doesn't look like I've managed to stop it from breathing. Maybe my weapon is just not long enough to reach its airways. The mammoth finally managed to pull itself away from Hardrick's grip, and it quickly arcs its trunk, making it reach its base with its own tip in order to squish me like a bug. I pull my dagger. I manage to get out of the trunk just in time, and the mammoth tries to attack me again, but it stops and it begins to make loud noises, trying to grasp for air. How did I even do that? I mean, if you cut someone's nose off, it's not like they will not be able to breathe, So what did it do? Did it make such a fucking big gash in there that all the blood caused the fucking mammoth to drown or something in his own blood or some shit? I have no clue. Trying to gasp for air as the damage I did to its airways finally starts to have a visible effect. After more than 10 more seconds of the creature desperately trying to breathe, its gasps for air start to get faster and shorter until they completely stop and the mammoth falls completely silent as it slowly crashes to the ground, causing a small earth tremor to the enormous size of its body. Mammoth Slayer. As I slowly land on the ground beside the monster carcass, Hardrick lets out a hearty laugh. Taking a good look at him, I see that he has a black eye from all the beating he has taken during this fight. That's it, Hardrick says. It's for moments like these that I've joined this tournament. I know that staying in this group was the right decision. There is just no running out of powerful enemies to fight with you people. That was quite the impressive combination you two had back there, Noldren says. I did not know any of you had the ability to fly. Yeah, well, if there's anything Barry excels at, it's resourcefulness, Hardrick says. He made that abundantly clear after somehow managing to wriggle his way out of the arena alive against all odds. An arena, you say, Noldren asks. Alright, we didn't tell you about that, Hardrick says. Back in Thelius, we all had a fight in an arena event. The owner of the arena really had it in for Barry and Layla, or rather he wanted to make them into stars of the show. He literally threw everything he had at them, and they only had some weaklings that team made, but they still managed to make it out victorious. We'll fill you on the details later. I sure hope that the orc captain is not planning to teleport back with even more reinforcements, Darren says. We'll need to find a way to stop them from escaping, otherwise they'll just keep coming at us over and over until we are completely worn out. Or you could try to do a better job at hiding your tracks from now on, Noldren says. If they manage to find you for a second time, then you people probably left them a really obvious trail to follow. Yeah, you're probably right, Darren says. Now that I think about it, the only way that they could have found us this fast is they teleported back to the location of our previous battle and pursued our tracks all the way to our camp. What if they have a tracking spell cast on us? They could also have scouts scattered all around the continent. Yeah, that is a possibility, honestly. Actually, that would make a lot of sense, Darren says. The dragon has a huge army of orcs, so it's only natural they have scouts all over the place. And if they're trying to using transceivers to communicate, there would be no real way for us to kill them before they get to report our location. I suppose that we have no other choice than to keep mowing down their troops until they decide to stop sending them after us then. Hey look, your elementalists are coming down, Noldren said. I think they're done killing the Varen riders. Once they get close enough to our possession, Kate and Flower dismisses their fire jets and ice cages. They land on the ground next to us. Is it over? Kate asks. Are they all dead? Is it that there are a third wave of enemies still waiting for ambush us? Nah, Araka says, there's no one else. I even checked above this time around. If they're going to bring new reinforcements out there, they're going to be anytime soon after beating they've taken in this fight. We should at least be prepared in case it happens. Eren says, let's start with some healing. Come over here and I'll tend to each of your wounds in turn. For the next few minutes, Darren spends his time magically healing all of our bruises, including Hardrick's black eye. And we're just about done. I see a tent slowly opening in the distance, and Melinda slowly comes out of it. Just as he exits the tent, I feel the air currents around me fading away until they're completely disappeared. Lugo finally decided to show up, Kate says. Hey Melinda, Flower shouts as Melinda is already advancing towards us. Over here, you missed the fight. Also, Darren's old enchanting master came to visit. He's standing right there next to me. His name is Noldren. Is this another member of your team, or Noldren asks us. Melinda overhears Noldren's question while she's still making our way towards us. She answers it before any of us get a chance to say anything. I'm only a traveling maiden looking to go home to her sickly father, Melinda says in a loud voice, smiling politely. These brave warriors have offered to escort me to my hometown, and now I'm traveling with them.